In the heart of an ancient forest, where sunlight dappled through a thick canopy of leaves, lived a young man named Elara. The villagers called him a listener, for he possessed a rare gift. He could understand the whispers of the wind, the rustle of the leaves, and the murmur of the brook. To him, the forest wasn't just a collection of trees. It was a living, breathing entity, full of ancient wisdom and secrets. One crisp autumn morning, as Elara was gathering herbs near the Whispering Falls, a chilling message rode the breeze. It wasn't the usual gentle hum of the woods. This was a frantic, urgent whisper, a warning that spoke of a creeping shadow, a silent blight that was slowly draining the life from the heart of the forest. The oldest trees, the ancient guardians, were beginning to weaken, their leaves turning a sickly yellow long before their time. The birds sang mournful tunes, and the once playful squirrels huddled fearfully in their nests. Alarmed, Elara decided he had to find the source of this decay. He followed the mournful whispers deeper into the forest, to a part no villager had dared to enter for generations, the grove of elders. As he pushed past tangled vines and stepped into the clearing, the sight that met his eyes stole his breath. The giant, ancient trees that stood like silent sentinels were covered in a dark, creeping moss that seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy. The air was thick and heavy, and the usual symphony of the forest was replaced by a suffocating silence. At the center of the grove stood the hardwood, the oldest tree of all, its massive trunk almost completely consumed by the shadow. Elara reached out and touched its bark. A jolt of cold, desperate energy shot through him, and a vision flooded his mind. He saw a forgotten ritual, a powerful binding spell cast by the forest's first protectors to contain a formless, corrupting force. Over the centuries, the spell had weakened, and the shadow was now breaking free, feeding on the forest's life force to regain its strength. The whispering warning wasn't just a cry for help, it was a plea to renew the ancient bond. Understanding what needed to be done, Elara knew he couldn't do it alone. He raced back to the village, his heart pounding with urgency. He burst into the village square, explaining the creeping shadow and the dying hardwood. At first, the villagers were skeptical, dismissing his words as the fanciful tales of the listener. But the elder, a wise woman who remembered the old legends, saw the truth in Elara's terrified eyes. She gathered the villagers and reminded them of their ancestral pact with the forest, a pact of mutual protection they had long forgotten. United by a common purpose, the villagers followed Elara back to the grove of elders, carrying offerings of pure spring water, sun-ripened grains, and seeds from their healthiest crops. Following the instructions from his vision, Elara guided them in a ceremony to renew the ancient pact. They joined hands on the hardwood, chanting words of respect and gratitude, pouring their collective energy and goodwill into the earth. As their voices rose in unison and soft, golden light began to emanate from the hardwood. The light spread, pushing back the creeping shadow, which hissed and recoiled before dissolving into nothingness. The oppressive silence was broken by the rustle of healthy leaves and the cheerful chirping of birds returning to the branches. The ancient trees seemed to stand taller, their leaves regaining their vibrant green hue. The forest breathed a collective sigh of relief, its whispers now filled with gratitude and joy. From that day on, Elara was no longer just the listener. He was the guardian of the whispers. The villagers, their bond with the forest renewed, worked alongside him, ensuring the woods remained a sanctuary of life and balance. The story of the shadow of the forest and the whispering warning became a timeless legend, a powerful reminder that when we listen closely to the world around us and act with courage and unity, we can overcome even the darkest of shadows. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If you enjoy this story, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure into the world of folklore and legends. See you next time.